folks who really
and their incredible team. This is also an exciting evening for me personally because for the first time since my relapse from leukemia over a year ago, I am finally able to participate in a large social event. Until recently, I had to avoid large gatherings due to my compromised immune system. So it's a lot of fun for me to be here tonight. If there is one thing I cherish more than a cozy bedroom at home, it's being able to spend time with the wonderful people who made it happen. Cancer is a difficult, frightening, and painful road, but as I learned early on in my cancer journey, it's also a road filled with many, many blessings. Special Spaces, which creates spaces for very sick kids to heal and relax, has been one of my particularly special blessings. I experienced firsthand how something as seemingly simple as a bedroom makeover can bring tremendous peace, comfort, and healing to kids battling life-threatening diseases. Healing, comfort, and peace. To a child battling cancer or any life-threatening disease, I'm here tonight to tell you that there is nothing more essential. I was diagnosed with very high-risk acute lymphoblastic leukemia in January of 2012 as a sophomore in high school. As you can imagine, the diagnosis was devastating to me and my family. While my friends were able to enjoy their late high school years, sports, dances, just hanging out and being a kid, I endured 2.5 years of chemotherapy, along with the usual side effects of constant nausea, hair loss, and lack of energy. One of the drugs caused severe neuropathy in my legs, which made it difficult for me to even walk. 2.5 years is a long time for a teenager, and there are many bumps along the way. But perseverance paid off, and 2 weeks before my high school graduation, I finally took my last dose of chemo and rang the bell at the MacFun Clinic at Children's Hospital of Wisconsin, marking the completion of my treatment. It was such a great day. I continued to go in monthly for checkups and blood work, and everything was looking great. I also took the first steps towards my dream of becoming a pediatric oncology nurse, inspired by the wonderful nurses and doctors at Children's Hospital of Wisconsin who saved my life. I enrolled in the nursing school at St. Mary's College in South Bend, Indiana, my mom's alma mater, alongside my sister who's also a nursing student there. Life was falling back into place. I was so happy to be living a life that I had always dreamed of and finally felt normal again. I had put cancer behind me. Although we always knew my cancer was considered very high risk, we never imagined it would ever return. But cancer had other plans. In December of 2016, just 2 weeks shy of my 5-year anniversary of my diagnosis, we learned that my leukemia had relapsed. We were heartbroken. Treatment for leukemia is difficult, but treatment for relapse leukemia is even tougher, and the outcomes are less certain. My doctors determined that my best chance for a cure would be a bone marrow transplant rather than continued rounds of chemotherapy. Transplants are scary, difficult, and not without significant risks. But I prayed for strength, and once again my dreams and plans put on hold, and I began preparing for my transplant. And when we received the best news that my brother Stephen was a perfect match and that he would be my bone marrow donor, we knew our prayers had been answered. The transplant itself is a relatively simple process, only taking a couple hours, but the months before and after the transplant are very intense, to say the least. I spent the entirety of January, April, and June inpatient at Children's Hospital. I received a lethal dose of chemo and radiation to destroy my marrow so that my new marrow would engraft and grow. I say lethal dose because were it not for my brother's donated cells, I would have died in 2 weeks. The combination of intense chemo and radiation caused a number of complications. Twice I ended up in the ICU for sepsis, had terrifying allergic reactions to at least 5 different medications, developed colitis, idiopathic pneumonia syndrome, pulmonary hypertension, and had the most excruciatingly painful and scary chemo shots, several fevers, had some very weird hallucinations from the powerful painkillers, and developed a blood clot in my right arm. I was unable to go to school, see my friends, or study for a career that I was so passionate about. And needless to say, it was a very difficult time emotionally. One of my most cherished possessions is my beads of courage, which I keep on my bedpost at home. It's a beautiful representation of my cancer journey and everything that I've been through. Each bead represents every chemo treatment, radiation treatment, injection, spinal tap, blood transfusion, MRI, CAT scan, night at the hospital, or any other bump in the road. That's just the first one. This is the life of a pediatric cancer patient. When I was inpatient at the hospital, or when I wasn't inpatient in the hospital, I was at home in my bedroom, too sick and too immunocompromised to be anywhere else. I spent countless hours in my hand-me-down twin-size bed watching Netflix on my iPad because I didn't have the energy to do anything else. And if you're looking for a review of a Netflix show or movie, let me know because I've probably seen them all. I always wanted one of my parents near me, but my room didn't have any additional seating. So they would pull a pillow up and prop it up against the closet door to keep me company. And my bedroom paint color was not my favorite. My dad picked it out by himself 15 years ago. Let's just leave it at that. I liked my room. It was comfortable and it was my space, but it was about to become a very special space. It was near the end of my first cycle of chemo when I was contacted by Kathy Wolfla and Ann Swain asking if I'd be interested in a room makeover. As someone who has always loved the comfort of her bedroom, but never more so than now, my heart nearly skipped a beat. For the first time in a long time, I was so excited that I immediately started envisioning what my new room would look like. It was confirmed in February that my room reveal was to be the last weekend of April. From that moment on, all I could think about and talk about was my new room. Everyone at the hospital knew about it and would ask questions about what I wanted and how I thought it would look. It made long days in the hospital a little easier knowing that I would come home to a brand new, beautiful room. One of my best little chemo buddies, Ashley, was also due to receive her special space a few weeks before me. Ashley and I had many admissions together, and we would talk about what our new rooms might look like. Neither of us could wait to see what the amazing volunteers would come up with. When I saw the video of Ashley's reveal, I couldn't imagine a more perfect room. She wanted a beach glam room, and I have to admit, I was a little jealous. From the flip-flop string lights to the grass skirt curtain and the turquoise walls, I couldn't imagine anything cuter than hers. I was scheduled for a 7-day admission at the beginning of April, but after ending up in the ICU and getting complication after complication, it turned into a month-long stay. I was finally starting to improve the weekend of the reveal and did some sweet talking to convince my oncologist to let me come home so I could be at the reveal in person. When I walked into my new room, I was absolutely speechless. I had pretty high expectations and imagined a perfect room as I had seen all the amazing work they had done for Ashley and many others. But I was blown away. I now had a beautiful, larger bed that comfortably fit two. The wall-mounted TV was perfect for movie nights and sleepovers with my sister. The crew added extra seating and a comfy rug so that my parents and visitors could be in the room without having to sit on the floor. The walls were a gorgeous shade of light pink, my favorite color. The custom monogram pillows added the perfect touch of personalization, and the Lily Pulitzer accents made everything just a little more fun. Everything was so carefully thought out down to the smallest details. My new special space was a perfect place to heal, recover, and relax after long, exhausting days getting chemo. My new room, along with the wonderful team of volunteers, made such a lasting impression on me that I had to let more kids know about this great organization. Every chance I get, I bring up special spaces and the wonderful work they do and encourage them to sign up so they can have a room of their own to recover in. I was able to enjoy my amazing space for a little under a month before I was admitted for 40+ days for my transplant. My new room was my hardest goodbye. It was the thought of my new room waiting for me at home that kept me going through those long days and nights at the hospital. All I could think about during that time was getting back into my cozy, spacious bed as soon as I was discharged to go home. In the meantime, every chance I could, I would show all my nurses the finished product of the new space that was created by so many special people. I am now 8 months post-transplant and finally able to get a little bit of normalcy back. When I left the hospital after my transplant, I was on more than 15 medications twice a day. Now I'm down to 1. Recovery from a bone marrow transplant is slow, and my immunity is equivalent to that of a newborn infant. In fact, I need to get all my childhood vaccinations again. But my new marrow, thanks to my brother Stephen, has finally made its new home, and my counts are trending upward towards normal range as of this past week. Yay. It's a little weird knowing my marrow came from my brother. If you looked at my blood DNA, it would show that I have male chromosomes, because my blood DNA is now his. As my doctor once joked, if I ever were to commit a crime, I could leave my blood on the scene and the police would go after my brother. I'm living at home, but able to take 2 nursing classes locally so that I can return back to St. Mary's in the fall. I am so grateful to come home to my beautiful space every day after an exhausting day of school rather than an exhausting day of chemo. It has become my favorite place to study. My room brings me peace, and every night I go to bed in awe of everyone who came together to make this happen, not only for me, but for so many other deserving kids. Thank you, sponsors, for your generous contributions to fund these spaces for kids to heal, recover, and find peace during the hardest times of their lives. Thank you, volunteers, for all your hours of hard work to make these bedrooms personalized to match each person's style and interest, so each room is uniquely theirs. Thank you to Anne and Kathy for your heart and dedication to this wonderful organization. Without you, none of this would be possible. And finally, thank you to all of you here tonight. You are here to help make these dream rooms become a reality for so many children. Each and every one of you, in your own unique ways, are changing these children's lives one bedroom at a time. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.